late night chat with the Braden. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
While you're in my house for a sec.
No, you're
But
good.
I wanted to, but I wanted to just ask, like, our biggest challenge, like, since we went, virtual, has been PR collection. And it's something that we always dominated. I know there's some things in my head that I feel I made bigger difference than they actually were, and I think at first I was like, oh, how do we do this? Like doing it virtually. And so I'd love for you to just share, like, just the shift, like, what are some of the biggest challenges that you might have had, or just what are some of the things you noticed right away that, were the same, or like how to do it, I guess. And I don't know, and I'm gonna hand it to Spencer to ask questions. And see what you do in the flow of it.
For sure. I think the biggest place to start is with coming from a place of abundance whenever you're asking. So many times when you were in person, you can kind of just grab the person's phone and just, do the PRs and select whoever the heck you want and then submit them from there. When we moved to virtual, it was like out of our control a little bit. So I just really, utilizing the way that you're saying things, the body language that you have, the tone that you come across with. One thing that our assistant managers kind of notices whenever I was doing the PR talk when we weren't getting good results is like my voice would change, and like how I was talking and how I was promoting and how I was saying it changed, because I knew it was important. And when they knew it was important, it was like, why has he changed? Like, he's ran training this whole entire time a certain way and now he's changed. So I think that was really big for us, coming from a place of abundance. Do you want you guys like to give the pitch on like what we do and like kind of a breakdown, or
yeah, sure.
Do you just want to ask questions, or
give us a quick breakdown of like how it goes for you?
Yeah, so on day one's when it starts, during opening comments of day one, we talk about the prizes of one friend on the team. We give I give a free piece of Cutco. 3 friends on the team is Ray-Bans or Costas, Maui's, 5 friends on the team's AirPods, 7 friends concert tickets, 10 friends a cruise. That's just what we've done. And having someone that gets really, really excited about the prizes, talk about it. So Ryan Lear is actually the guy that does it for us. And he just does such a good job promoting the prizes to everyone. And he kind of does a throwaway thing. He's like, guys, I can't tell you exactly how to win them yet. Braden's actually going to be covering that tomorrow. And it just leaves them on a massive cliffhanger. And so when we opened day 2 training, a lot of people were asking, like, what are those prizes yesterday? Like, what was that? And then and opening comments of day 2, I go through fast start prizes, what they can win in their first 10 days on the job. So they know those prizes as well. And then as far as when I start going through the message, we do it right after the phone jam on day 2. So when we open training, opening comments, phone jam, and then we do the PR message. Basically the breakdown of it is I tell them the 2 reasons why it's important to me. So I tell them why it's important to me, like as a person, like outside of the business, just a random person. And then I tell them why it's important to me as a manager, like in the business. And then I just do a brief basic of walking them through how to do it. I tell them the prizes of what we do to help them win the prizes. And then I just do like a super soft ask. And then I promote who submitted how much and go from there. That's
so you asked the group as a total who submitted and how much?
Well, you can see on Vector Live how much. So it's like, it's like, hey, Abby, yeah, great job. You submitted 75. Yep, we're going to give you 1 extra day. Okay. So awesome. Kayla, yeah, you submitted 150. Great job. You get 3 extra days. So what we do in our organization is that those prizes are for 1 qualified PR. I think almost every office does that. And then for every 50 people they submit, they get 1 extra day on their fast start. So 200 people, they get 4 extra days on their fast start. That's what we have done.
Do you have like a cap on the extra days in the fast start?
No, I don't. We had a girl last week spent 574, so she got 11 extra days, but it's so worth it. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you know, especially now, like, yeah, we could have argued back in like mid-December when somebody has, you know, their first 21 days, they don't have any school or anything involved, like that, you know, that got a little crazy, but now that they're in school, it's worth it.
Yeah, more cutthroat in their hand is better.
Yep.
What would you say for you has been like the biggest thing going from like person to virtual has been the biggest impact, or where have you made adjustments that have made the biggest improvement?
Changing the approach. I totally dissed the approach that we used before, and I went to really using the emotion part of side of things, and really playing with people's emotions on what it's done for me and what it's can do for them and what it can do for their friends. Yeah. Mhm.
Aggressively typing.
And then do you do anything behind the scenes after you do your script or your approach there?
Yeah, I don't do anything behind the scenes. I'm super open about it. These people have a very clear understanding of what they're doing and what they're submitting them for. And I think that's important. I think I got very upset with one of the managers in our division. He's like, no, just get them to submit everybody. I'm like, no. We ran a divisional training for the first time, and I don't know if other offices do that, but they have to have a clear understanding of what they're doing.
For sure.
And
I don't want grandparents and
yeah, for sure. So I mean, if someone submits, you know, like we had a girl last week submit 38, and I was like, hey, like you're 12 away from 50. You think there's any way you can get there? And she's like, nah, probably not. And like we sat there letting everybody else submit, and then she pulled up 67. I was like, hey, did you like accidentally resubmit yours or something? She goes, yeah, I just went through and found a few others. Like, you know, if you do it and you're not at, like, I'm not asking like, hey, you think there's any possible way you can get to 50? Like, you think you can? Like, I'm like, hey, like you're 12 away. You think you could get there? And just kind of having that abundance mentality and not coming from a place of scarcity.
What are you averaging right now?
135.
And so when you say that, you know, 12 away, you're saying that out loud in front of everybody, right?
In front of the whole entire group. Yeah.
Cool.
I think the two biggest things is how I tell them why it's important to me.
So could you actually do that?
Yeah, I can. So what I do is whenever we get started, I'm like, all right, guys, so this next section is actually going to be really beneficial. I want to send you guys. Do y'all have the video of the starfish in your training?
No.
All right, hold on. Let me send it to you, or I will forget. I can just send the link to Kathy. Since I have it remembered.
For sure.
What's throat? So weird.
I can't believe I've never.
I'm not sure what video you're referring to.
One day, a man was walking along the beach.
Oh, I know
I've
the
heard
story
stories
that this
and
is
not
about.
Yeah. So I play that video. I just sent it to Kathy where you have the link. So we just have it on our PowerPoint for training. So I play that video and I'm like, all right, guys, so this next section is going to be our team builder section. We've talked about this a little bit yesterday, and we're going to get an opportunity to talk about it more today and kind of do a little bit of an activity here where you guys can help us build our organization. I really just want to tell you guys like the 2 reasons of why it's important to me. And I want to tell you guys why it's important to me, like as a person, like outside of the business, like just who I am, Braden. And then I also want to tell you guys why it's important to like me as a manager and like who I am, in our organization. So I'll start with personally. I actually heard about the job when I was 17 years old. I was just finishing up my exams my junior year of high school. And I was actually just laying in bed Saturday morning, summertime. I wasn't really doing anything with my life. I was working a job at the time, and I had really no idea what my future or career looked like. I had full plans on just finishing up my senior year of high school and going and playing college football. And I actually got a text message on my phone and said, hey, my name is McCall Simons. Your friend Jaden Martin referred you for a position to work with us. And I was like, Jaden Martin? I was like, I don't even know who that is. So I didn't answer the text or anything. And I went to football practice like 3 days later. And Jaden actually came up to me. Jaden was like a guy on our football team I wasn't super close to or anything. And I saw his face. He's like one of those people, like I recognize his face, didn't really recognize his name, but I totally put 2 and 2 together whenever I saw him. And he was like, hey, did you get the text from my boss? And I was like, no, I don't think I did. Like totally lying, right? I like all I needed to do was like, I went home that night, responded to the text message, and I got scheduled for an interview like the next day. I went into the office, and I kind of remember like sitting in the office, and I was like, I don't really know why I'm here. I was like, wasn't looking for a job. Like, yeah, cool experience, sounded great and stuff. And now looking back, like Jaden was so selfless and just referred me. Like he didn't have to refer me. Like he could have just referred like his closest 5 friends. Like I definitely wasn't one of his closest 5 friends or anything. And I would have never heard about the job, and like not being rude to anyone on training or anything like that. But like if I'm not here, like most of you probably aren't here either. I'm not saying I'm God or anything. Like you probably could have heard about the job some way else or somewhere else, but you wouldn't be in my organization and training today. And I'm just so fortunate for Jade. I mean, I met my significant other through the company. I've been able to go to Paris, Cancun, Cabo, Puerto Vallarta. We're going to Maui in a few months. I wouldn't have been able to do all those things. I've been able to invest in the stock market. I've been able, to learn more about the real world and be able to gain experience and things that I didn't even think I was going to do when I was 35, more than less when I'm at the age I'm at now. So I'm just so fortunate for this program, and this program so special to me because, I don't know if I would have heard about the job. I might be working at McDonald's right now. I might be in college, playing football and not really doing anything with my life. And, most of you know from the interview, like my personal story about my father passing away. And like, that's kind of why I didn't go to college and then I'm in the company. So it's not like I dissed, college for the company or anything. But at the end of the day, like, every time I see Jaden, like we're not friends, I'm gonna say, but I'm appreciative for him. And every time I see him, I say thank you. So if I were you right now, if you raise your hand if you heard about the job through a friend, all right, well, shoot your friend a text right now and say thank you, because if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be here today. And I would be very, very appreciative for your friend or acquaintance, whatever we want to call it, whoever, refers you to the company or refers you to us. So that's why it's important to like me as a person, as a human being, and what it's done for me. Now, why is it important to me as a manager? Well, guys, you got to think about it, Abby. Like, I have 2 ways that I could conduct our business as a manager in our organization. The first way is I could go spend tens of thousands of dollars. I could put up billboard advertisements. I could put up random posters places. I could put up Craigslist advertisements, random Facebook advertisements, and we're going to have a bunch of people apply for the job. We have an exciting starting pay. We have an exciting company. We have an exciting, experience that you can gain. There's a lot of really cool things going on, and we're going to have people apply, except I have no clue any of the people that apply from any of those sources, right? So I could do that, or I could go to you, Abby, and Kayla, and Jeremy, and I could say, hey, like I can hook you guys up with some cool prizes if you get some of your friends on the team. Now, I'm not going to pay you for getting your friends on the team because that would be what's considered a multi-level marketing, and most of you guys know what that is. Basically, it's where, you have to buy into a company and then you have to get people underneath you, right? So I can't pay you for getting your friends on the team, but I will hook you up with those cool prizes. Remember yesterday when Ryan was talking about like how if you get one friend on the team, you get a free piece of Cutco, and 3 friends, you get Ray-Bans or Costas, or 5 friends, you get like, AirPods. So those prizes, that's what we're doing during this team building activity and what you're going to have an opportunity of doing. So anyways, with the program, what I think would be better for our organization is me going to you guys and saying, hey, if you get a friend on the team, I'll hook you up with some cool prizes. I can hook you up with something. And instead of spending tens of thousands of dollars with random people on random sources, I can spend those thousands of dollars on you guys and hooking you up with prizes. Because here's the deal, Kayla, your friends are going to be somewhat like you. Abby, your friends aren't going to be drug addicts, like about to go to jail, like just got out of jail, like terrible people. Like they're going to be somewhat like you. And if I had to take a guess, if we want to work with you, Kayla, we're going to want to work with more people like you as well. Right now, here's the deal, Jeremy. I can't guarantee you that I'm going to offer any of your friends a position to work here. I just can't do that. However, I promise you that I will give every single one of your friends the respect and the benefit of the doubt and know that they're your friends. And I will at least give every single one of them an opportunity to interview with our company and our organization. And it will be up to them if they can make it through our interviewing process. We're very selective with the people we bring on board in our organization. But again, if they're somewhat like you, Abby, I'm pretty confident. Right. So we're about to go through a program. I'm actually going to text you guys an app you can download on your phone. Basically, it's going to be an opportunity for you to kind of scroll through your friends list, have a list of your friends. And really all I want you guys to do is just take everyone off that's over the age of 30. Right. If they're under the age of 30, all they're going to do is get a quick text message. Most of you got the text message anyways, and they're either going to say yes to the text, they're interested, or they're going to say no, we're going to delete their number. I have no interest in trying to call these people, follow up with them 5,000 times. It's a waste of my time, a waste of their time. And it's just super annoying and super weird anyways. So as I'm going to share my screen real quick. I'll pull this up and I'll be able to run through this with you guys real quick and show you how it's done.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. And then I share my screen and you guys know how to do the PR app from that.
Sweet.
So
I don't have any questions because we answered most of them before. No, you got anything after?
Not yet.
I think the biggest thing is playing to their emotions and understanding how they're impacting their friends' lives and sharing whatever your story looks like. Right. And I played to people's emotions in our interview. My story is just weird and vector. I had no plans of being a manager. If somebody would have told me I'd been a manager, I would have laughed my ass off. But my dad passed away with cancer and I had to like provide for myself. So I played to my strength there that like I was in your shoes. I was about to go to college. I didn't have an idea of what the hell I wanted to do. And, Cutco gave me a path to where I could find myself. I could kind of just find fulfillment and have an opportunity to do that. And so that's why I'm here. And that's what I was referring to whenever I said that, because everyone that works in my organization knows that from their interview. And just playing to the strengths there, like, I had a friend that he's not in the business anymore that impacted my life. I'm like, you have the opportunity to do that for your friends. And worst case scenario, they get a really great experience and they meet some really cool people and get to network with some awesome people. So, and then, playing to them, it's like, we love you. We like you. Like, that's why you're here. Like, it's more fun to work with your friends anyways. Like, you guys seem like your friends. I mean, right. So, we all know that. And I think sharing that, I tried not to change my voice as much as I could. If you could tell, voice inflection, I think is very, very important when you're on Zoom. So.
Sure. Cool.
Thank you for that. That was really cool to see.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's one thing that my manager really does. Also, just in the interview as well, just talks about his personal story, and I think it really helps a lot. And a lot of people just really relate to it as well, because they're like, "Well, I'm in college, I don't know what I'm doing." It's like, well, yeah, I didn't know what I was doing either. So
yeah,
it makes sense. So yeah, I think that's something that we could elaborate more on, because I think whenever I try to do this, I think I am the type of like, hey, is there any way you can think of, kind of like when you're asking for a recommendation, we kind of take that same approach. coach. I literally did it today.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, got me there. And I was like, so I could definitely just not change my voice as much
Mhm.
for sure. The tone, the voice.
Yeah, and it's challenging, and it's more challenging when you're getting started.
Mhm.
So when you got to do this the first 2, 3, 4, 5 times, that's when it's going to be challenging to not change your voice, because typically when you're starting to change something, you don't have a ton of recruiting momentum, and it's not like you guys. I assume you didn't get 135 names ahead in training last week, or I don't think we'd be having this conversation. Nothing against you guys. If you asked me 4 months ago, our stats are probably like 44 ahead, per head. So coming from a place of abundance now is more important than it is later on, and just kind of being like, I'm on the same level. I'm on the same level as you. Like when I started, I wanted to help out my friends too, and another mentality that you have, just to kind of, for you guys to believe, not something you really say out loud. It's like you want them to focus on sales, you want to focus on recruiting. Like, so you don't want them recruiting their friends. Like if their friends reach out to them, like when we prep people, like when we call them like, hey, we're about to send out their text, because if you have people that submit 200 people, they have to know before I send the message out, or I'm going to lose the rep. The rep will quit because they're going to get 100 text messages, right? So calling them, just being like, hey, so if somebody texts you and asks you questions, like unless it's like they're probably gonna be like, hey, is this real? Is this a scam? Like, is this actually you? Just like, yeah, like reach out to Braden. He's my manager. He'll be able to help you out with everything. Right. And like, I totally deflect everything to myself, where they don't have to deal with anything at all besides verifying that it's them.
Yeah.
We do that as well.
Yeah.
Every time.
That was a great reminder. Another thing I saw that you did is constantly calling people out, or like name dropping.
Yeah.
Keeping the engagement.
Yeah. I'd probably say people's names in training too much. Like I think it's so important just to remember people's names too.
Right. Yep. I always write them on a piece of paper, so because I can't ever see everybody's face.
Yeah.
I remember I used to use seating charts, right? When we had
Yeah.
Oh, you guys
Anna,
switched
come
seats
sit to the front of the room.
You guys switched seats on me. Johnny,
Yeah.
what? I will remember all of your names by the time you leave today.
I definitely remember.
What do you change it to in the summertime for you said 50 for an extra day? When they have 3 weeks.
Yeah, we did 100 last summer. And I think our name collection was pretty solid last summer. I mean, I gave let's see. Had been solid because I gave fall kickoff, the PR name collection fall kickoff message. So yeah, I think we averaged 158 last summer ahead or something like that.
Nice.
So
And you still did one an extra day for every 50?
100, an extra day for every 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
During the summer.
Cool.
So yeah, I've just found, if you want my honest reason why I changed it to 50 is because when I got back into doing it, I was, and when I say last summer, I mean the summer before last, not last summer, because last summer was terrible. I was telling myself that no one had contacts in their phone. They were all on Snapchat, Instagram, like they communicated with everybody through social media. I was like, people don't have contacts in their phone anymore. I called Braun and said that. He's like, just change something, like just change your prizes or something. And I was like, I'm just gonna lower them to 50 people. He's like, I think that's a terrible idea, but whatever. He's like, that's too low. I was like, I'll figure it out. And I did it the first week, and I was like, and so many people submitted, and I was like, well, guess we will have contacts this week. And then, I mean, every week since then. I mean, like last week in training, we collected like 1,200 names, and like there was like 1,800 contacts available. I was like, all right, well, people have contacts in their phone.
Yeah.
So I don't know if y'all tell yourself that limiting belief, like everybody's on Snapchat now. People still have contacts in their phone.
I think one thing that helped was for orientation, we started telling people to reach out to their friends to get like their friend's number so that they can then get their parents' number. Because a lot of people like, I had somebody last week that submitted 44 names and it showed 100% contacts.
Mhm.
And so, like, since we've started telling people to reach out to their friends, get their friend's number, and then like call their parents, they have their friend's number saved now, so they now have more numbers.
Yeah.
Because I like for a while it was just like nothing. I don't know if that had much of an impact.
You're always going to have that outlier of people that definitely don't have contacts. I mean, there are some people that, I mean, we had a girl in training last week that submitted 2 people, and I texted her afterwards, like, why did you only submit 2? Because, like, at that point, you're worried. It's like they don't have conviction in the job. Like, if somebody only submits 2 PRs, and then I texted her afterwards, she's like, I literally don't save anybody's contacts. And then she did Snapchat. We told her to post a Snapchat, and took like 28 applications, so everybody was just on Snapchat. So I would be aware whoever's taking name collection, and I would, address like, all right, well, this person only submitted this many, so I need to do Snapchat, or I need to really lean into Instagram, or, 3-way texting on another platform or something.
Yeah. Any other questions, since you're going to be the PR queen this year?
Oh, my sternum just popped. I've been waiting for that all day.
It's the strangest thing I think I've heard someone say.
Bro, your sternum popping? Solid. Do you think that like addressing like can't pay you because that'd be multi-level marketing has an impact?
I say it in every training.
I think it does.
I'm
I've
pretty.
heard y'all's PR talking, y'all say it,
Mhm.
and we don't say it. Like we don't address like, can't pay you because that would be multi-level marketing. Like we don't address that.
I'm
But I
pretty
hear a lot
open
of
about
people-
it. There's other offices in our division that do pay people for getting in person on the team, so I'm definitely going against the gradient in our division. They give like $50 for every qualified recruit. With everything I do on college campuses and stuff, I want to stay away from that as much as possible. So I say it, and some people were like, so I mean, I've had somebody go like, well, what is multiple marketing? I'll sit there and explain it. I'm like, well, since you asked, here, and I'll give them the whole rundown, because I think it's important for them to be knowledgeable on it.
And I think it helps them also, like, since they're still in training, if they Google vector marketing, there just has to be all the things that they say. And so I really got that objection yesterday of like, have you seen all them negative things online? Well, yes, but
Yeah, I mean, I definitely saw that when I first started, but I did a little bit more research. I looked at the Better Business Bureau, Direct Selling Association.
So I think
Talk to
us
friends.
reinforcing that, just like about talking about with friends, it kind of reinforces it about the job in general. Kind of like, hey, by the way, we're not bad. Like we're a great company, and you've seen it so far. And I think it just kind of like helps, just not just with friends, like make them calmer, but also like, hey, the job is great, the company is great, just give us a chance, and we'll change your life.
Mhm. Also, I had that same thing happen like yesterday, the day before, and I was just like, it's like, bro, you can literally reach out to colleges and reach out to professors, and they will tell you that they use our program. Like, I don't think they would use our program if it was sketchy.
Lead a horse to water, can't make a drink.
Very true. Anybody else got any other questions?
I have not done this talk yet, so I don't know exactly what to ask. So I'm just kind of taking notes.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
fine.
When it comes to reaching out through social media, is there any different techniques that y'all use?
Dave's Snap program's a big one. Do y'all know how to do that?
No.
So
I remember his talk on a call a while back, and I just had like 4 pages of notes about prep. And I was
yeah,
like, true.
Snap program is big for us. We'll also do Instagram recruiting and tell them the Instagram message. It's a little more for, maybe like day 11 PCs, day 18 PCs. I mean, a big one for us, if I can just get somebody's top 5 in their PC, depending on how many names they submit. If they only submitted 2, like I've got to find a way to get some more applications. But if they submitted like 48 or something, I just get their top 5 in their PC and then go recruit their top 5. I'm gonna duplicate them. Like I'll get one of their friends on the team.
That's huge.
Can I ask a question on behalf of somebody else?
Sure.
Toe inflection, right? I feel like I'm solid at that. What would your tips be for that though? For somebody that might not be solid?
Practice the script, because if you are reading it to no one, you're not going to have a voice inflection. Your voice inflection will be normal.
Very like monotone reading a script.
Yes, and you're not going to be monotone when you do it in training. At least I don't think any of you would, right? But because like right then it was hard for me to have proper voice inflection because you guys are sitting here and I haven't ran a whole training for you, so you don't have no idea what my voice is, right? And I try to keep my voice as steady as I possibly could. But if you're just doing it to yourself or reading it to one friend, like in a AM training or whatever, like you will have pretty steady voice inflection naturally, and that will carry over the first time you read it. Because you're going to be naturally nervous the first time you do it differently anyways, which is okay. I mean, that's totally normal.
So do you have an office?
I am in the West Houston office.
Oh, awesome. What's your role?
Assistant manager.
She's gonna
Congratulations.
branch this summer.
Congrats.
Thank you.
She's gonna help run she's gonna be the dom for one of our offices, and she's gonna be the pilot.
Oh, that's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
So they're pretty new. What any tips you'd give them?
For what specifically?
Just in general, as a coach.
You're going to stop
My
this or
biggest-
keep it going?
Yeah.
My biggest tip
I didn't